Hello traders, in today's video we're going to be talking about a Binance volume monitor that can alert you when a pump is about to happen on any Binance coin. Really cool tool, and apparently the guy who created this said that he's up 100x since May. I think he means May 2019. I started less with 10k and now he's a whale. So let's go into this, let's see how much edge that this thing really has, and we'll do that. Additionally, I didn't post a public video Tuesday because that was my live stream for my Delta Neutral course. And if you want to watch the VOD of that live stream or get the Delta Neutral course, you can click the link in the description below. All right, traders, this is an excellent tool if you are trading on Binance or on other exchanges, because you can use this for Binance, but then also trade it on other exchanges as well. Let's look at the first one that we see here, Algo. It had 11 pings down here, and at 1827, which was about 25 minutes ago, I got my first alert right here. And I saw that there was a net volume of 0.977. Net volume is looking at the amount of buys versus sells. If it is positive, that means that there's more buying than selling. If it's negative, that means that there is more selling than buying. I can also see here that there was a fair amount of overall volume here. So let's go look at what happened at 1827 and would this have been a very good buy. So at 1827 on Algo, we were here. Oh my jeez. 1827, let me change this to UTC time just to show you guys. 1827 was there. So you can see that right at this point right here with the price point of 2052 in Tether, this was indicating us to buy. This was indicating that this was probably about to pump. And we can see that it pumped already about 5%, 4.5%. And it continued to have more alerts. We got another alert. If this first alert wasn't enough, we got another alert here at 1839. At 1839, which was here. Another alert, and then I think there was even more Algo alerts. Yeah, there was one at 1841, 1840, a ton of alerts, and then a lot even more alerts here at 1843, 1842. And this can be a great way to detect when a coin is about to pump. Now, I actually checked the Bitcoin price versus Algo. Bitcoin isn't doing anything at all. This is just Algo that is rising. So this is quite interesting. I think that if I was personally trading this right now, I mean, 2020 hindsight, of course, but I think that the best time to have bought would have been perhaps after a lot of buying right here at 1827. Go back to volume at 1827 around here, and that was this first alert right there. Now we can just see even more volume is flooding into Algo, which could make it rise more beyond that. But also I know that whenever a coin has a movement like this, what typically ends up happening is you typically see a sharp down move that begins the sell-off, and then it traps all traders at the top. So we could probably get a sharp down move, and then it would maybe retrace a little bit as people began to break even from longs, and then it would just continue falling. That's the typical sign of what you see when you get a parabolic rise, followed by a typically very, very fast fall to trap everyone. And when it's going to happen, we don't know, but I think that it would indicate it here with a large amount of selling. Now, other kinds of coins, let's go look. So we also had a alert for, what else do we have? We had one for ADA, ADX. Let's go to ENG. So just click it and it actually takes you to the screen. Now this is quoted in BTC. The other one was quoted in USD. Let's go see how this was looking at the time. ENJ had net volume of 2 Bitcoin, so 2 Bitcoin more market buying than market selling at 1840. Now, if we had bought at 1840, let's go see how this would have done. So if we had bought at 1840, that would have been around here. We would be up slightly, I guess, just very, very slightly. If we had bought here, prices, you'd be up, I'd say like 0.2% probably. And now it looks like price is falling, but let's go look at what ENJ USDT was doing as well, because that would probably be the pair that I would rather trade rather than to Bitcoin. I'd rather trade it to Tether. This does look a little bit less liquid, but it does look like at 1840, this could have been a better opportunity for us to buy. So that is another one that you can see there. But do be careful that you're looking at liquidity, and only do this, I would say, if you are comfortable with the risk that this involves, because this does involve a good amount of risk. as you can see if you're trading this kind of system. I would say that this could also probably be automated using a variety of strategies, but I don't want to go into automation yet. I think that this needs more back testing before I say, oh, this is a great thing to use to detect pumps. So let's go look at ADX. We had one alert here and one alert here. ADX alert with a net volume of 55.9%. Guys, what that means is the net volume increased since the last hour. So ADX has had a surge in hourly volume at the time of 1842. So what's going on here? What is going on? Well, this one, yep, and I see the surge in buying right here. We get a large amount of buying right here, and that's indicating that this will probably continue to rise. And I can also see that there was a surge in buying here as well. A lot of buying right there. I wouldn't be shocked to see this go higher. But let's also look at the ADX. I know ADX is an indicator, but they don't have a fiat pair for ADX. Interesting. We can also see what other ones. LTC is a large market cap. I guess you could still do that. Very, very large market cap. NKN. I actually don't know that coin. Let me go look at NKN because I've never heard of this coin in my life. Perhaps it was recently listed or I've just never really heard about it. But it was indicated at the time of 1828 as a potential buy because a large amount of volume was flowing into the coin. At 1828, yeah, I guess it would have been a decent buy. We can see that it's up like one tick. It was at 216. Now it looks like it's the coin selection that you use for this. I think is important. What I believe. This might be a little bit tougher to explain, but very cheap coins, when I say cheap, there's no such thing as cheap and expensive, but coins that are quoted like this that have very, very large increments, because 216 to 217 is a very large percent increment. I don't like those kinds of coins. There are some issues with them, but if you look at a coin like this one I have less. Let me go to ENJ BTC just to make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a coin that I prefer a lot more. You can see that the percent difference isn't as much from 1718 to 1719 or 1718 to 1721. There's not that much of a difference. But when you see a coin like that's quoted like this is something that I don't always love trading. For example, if a coin is worth 100 Satoshi in Bitcoin and you're trying to buy at 100, it will take a pretty large amount of volume for it to even rise to 101 and then trying to sell at 101 when you could only maybe sell at 100. I know that might seem a little bit complicated, but it all has to do with the tick increment, and tick increments like algo are great. Like something like this is just really what I would love to trade. I think it's a lot easier to trade. But things like NKN are things that I'd rather avoid. All right, so let's go see some others. So Algo just had a pretty large sell-off, as you can see here by my math, 1849. So do we think that this is the beginning of that down move? 1849, it was indicating that there is a large amount of selling. Potentially. I would need to see a little bit more of a sharper down move, though. All right, let's go to one last one that is more recent, so we don't have to use 2020 hindsight. There's Dusk, there's Bat. Let's go to Dusk. This one had a surge in buying at the time of 1849. 1849, which was 2 minutes ago in UTC. Okay, so this is one of those that's quoted in a similar way where the minimum increment's quite low. So I don't like that. Or the percent increment's quite high, which is not, that's not something I'd want to. With this, it's very guerrilla, GUERILLA. It's very, I would say, this is the kind of system that you're going to need a large amount of outside confluence. I mean, yes, the algo example worked quite well. We can see that would have made about 5%. These other examples were mostly flat. Even though we don't know what's going to happen, like I can click on any of these coins. I've clicked on a million of them, but looking at some of these just to see how they performed after the fact. Yeah, this guy continued to pump. This is one of the ones that we did talk about. We said, hey, it's in the structure here, and we got the indication to buy here. This one actually did work pretty well. So I guess from this example, one of these pumped 4.5%, one of them pumped 5%. after the first alert is what I'm saying. But let's go look at the other ones to see if they did as well throughout this video. ENJ did nothing. Since the indicator we had to buy was here, it did absolutely nothing. NKN, I wouldn't even trade it anyway because of its increment, but it looks like it did absolutely nothing. If anything, it got a little bit more bearish. And Dusk did bearish. But I would say overall, let's say that we had sunk 0.1 BTC into each of these coins at the same time when the first alert went off. I think that you would, in this example, have been profitable because you would have made about 8 to 9% from those 2 coins, then maybe lost a few percent from the other 3 coins if you had traded everything. But I think that there is some significant edge to this to find really what coins are seeing a surge in buying volume and then immediately being alerted to that so that you can ride the upwave of demand. But of course, you may want to check the order book, order depth through vcdepth.io. You could also look at historical pumps by looking at historical market volume to see what's normal and what's more abnormal. But yeah, it looks like ADX and Algo worked quite well. All right, that's going to be it with this, guys. Be very careful when using this. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Everyone says that, but it's the truth. This is something that you need to spend more time on. It's not just like a quick, what does it say, 100x immediately. That's anything's a possibility. That is certainly a possibility, but I think that before testing with anything, very, very, very tiny amounts of capital is necessary. So let's say you want to try this out and you're serious about it. Perhaps maybe using even tether pairs only, so USDT, and only doing, 50 tether per pair. So that if one of these things pumps another, say, 5%, you make 2.5 tether. Or if one of them just doesn't work at all, then you lose a few pennies of tether if it does nothing. Or maybe you lose 50 pennies, 50 cents of tether. 0.5 tether would be the more appropriate term. So definitely, if you're going to do this, start very, very small. And if you want to automate it, then I would also recommend starting that small as well, because you don't want to just jump in here with 5 Bitcoin and just start doing everything. That's probably not going to end well. With that, happy trading. Really cool indicator from CryptoZ's, and I'm looking forward to what this can bring us in the future. Happy trading.